Hi everybody and welcome to the next tutorial. Now let's discuss the question how to use the headless mode in Selenium. Let's go. So first you see this site here, it's craigslist.com, and I would like to demonstrate you an example where we don't use the headless mode, and then in the next step we will use it, and then we also want to discuss the different steps and what's the difference between using it and don't using it. Alright, so first it's craigslist.com. Let's say we want to type in table. Okay, search for it. Okay, now it's loading. And then once the page was loaded, we want to scrape the names of these results. Okay, so this is our requirement. And here in the different tab, I've provided a simple notebook here with the code already. And I will just go line by line and explain to you what I did, because I don't want to do it from scratch. Otherwise, this video will be just too long. Never mind, if you have any kind of questions, let me know in the comment sections. And then let's see if we can solve it. Alright, so first of all, I need to import the relevant packages. As always, once we work with Selenium, we need to import the WebDriver. Here I've imported the time module. Afterwards, I need to import the keys class and the options class. Okay. Inside this variable, I've stored Craigslist.org. This is for San Francisco, so it's SF Bay, San Francisco Bay. Okay. Then in the next step, we need to initialize our Chrome driver. Here we have the variable, then we use the WebDriver.chrome, and this is actually the path where my driver is stored on my computer. Okay, now we need to open the website. We want to maximize the window. Afterwards, we create a variable for this input area, and here in this example, we use the ID locator. In the next step, we want to click on this input area, and then we want to wait for 1 second. Afterwards, we write down table. Okay, that means we use the sendKeys class. And then after we have written down table, we want to click on enter, and here comes the keys class in place, which was imported in this line. Okay. Then we want to store all our results in this tables variable. That means here we use the XPath locator, and this will be a list with all the results. Afterwards, we will loop through the results and print out all the names. And finally, we close the driver. So I would say I now will run everything, and we will see how this browser actually behaves without the headless mode. And then once it's done, we use the headless mode and see what's the main difference. Okay, now I will run the cells. Number 1, number 2, and now let's go. Okay, we see this browser is opening. We type in table, enter. Now we have this site here. Let's see what happens. And the browser was closed. So let's see if we have all our entries. And this looks actually good. So here we have the entries for our tables. Okay. And this is actually it. So this was the short example using the Selenium WebDriver without the headless mode. And now let's see what the main difference is. Okay, so in order to demonstrate you everything, I will just copy this code here. Okay, copy that one and paste it inside the cell. And this is our first step. In the next step, what we need to do is we need to do a few modifications. So here we need to use the options class. Okay, so again, the options class was imported in this line, and now we need to make use of it. So here I provide one variable. It's Chrome options equals to options. Okay, this is number 1. And step number 2 is Chrome options dot add argument And here we need to add the following argument. So it's dash dash headless. Okay, this is step number 1. Now step number 2 is, after we have provided this path, I will put down a comma, then options equals to Chrome options. Okay, so this is actually the setup for the headless mode. And afterwards, what I also want to do is I want to provide a few comments. That means, for example, here after we open the website, we want the print statement that the website was opened. This is number 1. Then number 2 is, after I have searched for the table, I want the following message to be printed out. So it's print, we search for tables. This is number 2. Then the print statement number 3 is the following. After we have stored the results inside a variable, I want to be printed out the following statement, but in a new line. So it's \n for a new line. And okay, so this was my mistake. I want this new line to be in the end, not at the beginning. So I start typing here, this is, or these are the results. Okay, these are the results. And then I want the results to be printed out in a new line. And finally, after we close the driver, I want this statement to be printed out. So it's \n for the new line, and then website was closed. Okay, so let's see what we have done so far and what the reason is behind the headless mode. So you have seen right now in the first example, if we don't work with the headless mode, we see the driver appearing and everything is actually happening what we have written down inside our script, right? So we have the script and the automated actions happen and we see everything in the front, right? Once we use the headless mode, that means everything happens the same way, with the only difference that we don't see anything, right? So that means this browser is not opening in the front, everything happens in the background, and we just see the results, but we don't see this browser interaction. This is the whole idea of the headless mode. And for us now, since we know that this driver won't open, at least I want to know what happens, okay? And this is why I decided to print out this 4 different print statements. This is actually the idea behind it. And now we should get the exact same results, with the only difference that we have included 4 different print statements, so we know what happens in the background, what we actually don't see, okay? I hope this was not too confusing right now. And I would say I will just run this code and let's see what happens. So let's go. And we see here, website was opened. We search for tables. Okay, great. And you see what happened here. So this was our print statement number 1. Website was opened. We search for tables. These are the results. Now we have our results for the table names. And then we scroll down, and once the driver was closed, we have this print statement that the website was closed. Okay, so you see we have the exact same result without the fact that we see what happens in the front. This is the whole logic for the headless mode. If you have any kind of questions, please let me know, and I wish you all the best. Bye bye.